Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Chase, and we're filming an episode of Daily Creative. This is the show where I answer your questions on your journey of becoming a either hobbyist or maybe even a professional creative. I've been one my whole life, and I feel like if we, answer questions for one another, rising tide's gonna float all the boats. So I listened to some voicemails this morning. You guys are calling from all over the world, which I appreciate. This one is from Gabby. Gabby, what's up?
Hey Chase, my name is Gabby. Social media, Instagram is Gabby Rechny,
Gabby?
RECNY as that last part. I just have a quick question. Like you, I'm very athletic and I need exercise to kind of maintain my mood, but I also work a full-time job to pay the bills. So I was just wondering if you had any tips on how to balance the creative time, the well-being time, and the work time as well. Thanks.
Got it.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Awesome. All right, so that question from Gabby is one that I feel like I don't get enough of. And in part, it's like, how do you take care of yourself while you're working so hard? I was just sharing with a coworker. He's like, how many hours you work? And I was like, well, I don't know, geez. And it's a lot of hours. And the reality is you can't keep up the pace that's required from sort of a modern creator, especially if you want to do this professionally, and especially if you're just getting started. You have to over-index on the work up front. And yet, part of my, the thing that is crystal clear to me is that I'm half the person that I want to be if I don't have exercise. And you've probably heard on the airline, like when you're sitting there about to take off, put your own oxygen mask on before assisting other passengers. That's the way that I think of my work. And my own oxygen mask has to do with taking care of my mind. You've seen my daily routine, or my morning routine, I think is a video that you can find on YouTube. I think, to me, that's one of the most important things that has provided the venue for success. You've heard other videos where I've said, put yourself in a position to win. For me, the fitness aspect, the personal health, the mental health is mission critical. Right before we started recording this, I listened to this voicemail and I laughed out loud because I'm a horrible human if I don't get exercise. And so here's the way I think about it. I'm not really compartmentalizing my life. It's all very much a blend, but there is one thing that I try and do religiously, and that is get my exercise in first thing in the morning. Because you know what happens? Life happens. That's why I focus so much on a morning routine, part of which is exercise, because if you wait until 11 or 12 and you might have some inbound mail or something's gonna hijack your day. So first of all, I take care of myself, my morning routine, and part of that is physical fitness. The second thing is that if I wait till later in the day to do the things that are most important, they often get missed. So I exercise, I take care of myself, I meditate. You should watch that video. And then the first thing I do when I have a ton of energy in the morning is the thing that I want to do the least, that's the hardest. This is counterintuitive for a lot of people. I don't wait for that stuff at the end of the day. I block out time, and I own my own day. If you're talking to Julie, my EA, or anybody in this crew, we film all these in the afternoon because my morning is my time. I'm directly responsible for my productivity, especially first thing in the morning. So, Gabby, take care of your body. You and I are the same human. If we can't exercise, we can't be productive. So therefore, if productivity is an important part of your life, put it in front of the day, up front. That's my advice. As far as the rest of this life balance thing, I did another video called Work-Life Balance is a Myth. It's very controversial, it's dangerous, but I think you should watch that one too. Awesome, thank you very much for the question, and it's a thing that we're all wrestling with. Like, we all want to work so hard. We all are motivated by the careers that we want to have, especially when we don't have that thing. And sometimes the thing that we don't want to do, we end up working instead of working out, or working instead of eating well or sleeping. That's just a bad formula, I promise. I've tried it. It doesn't work out well. You got to take care of you. Put your own oxygen mask on before taking care of anybody else. That includes your career. All right, awesome. Can we have another one? I got one queued up here. Thank you, Finn, for texting this to me. Awesome. The second one is, who's this from? Dylan. What's up, Dylan? Let me listen to your voicemail.
Hi, Chase. Thank you so much for all of your wisdom, and I really enjoy watching the show. Finally came up with a question for you, which is, I often shoot some kind of gritty male nudes or edgy, drag queen photos. And
okay.
I also maintain a business of kind of the cleaner, brighter, family-friendly portraiture on the side. And so I'm curious what your thoughts are on maintaining those two kind of realms of interest for me without alienating one or the other.
Got it.
And kind of not pigeonholing yourself into one at the expense of the other. So can check out my work. I am Dylan.cr2 on Instagram. Thank you so much.
Dylan, awesome. So to summarize, likes to shoot gritty nude photographs and also has a family portraiture business. Now, I find there are one of two paths that you can take with this, Dylan. I love the question, and I have answered a similar question before. Yours has a little bit of an edge to it, which I really appreciate. But the more general answer first, and then I'll get into your very specific. The more general answer is, I don't like to be a bunch of things. I think, what was the other question? We had someone who is a designer and they photograph drag racing, or designer, musician, and they wanted to put those two things together. I understand why you would want to, because you are one person. And I think at some point in your career, you can be all of the things. If you're starting out, I think you should focus on one thing. I think a portfolio should be focused in a way that that anyone who wants to hire you can, come on through, don't worry about it. Oh, this is your truck right here. Okay, cool. That you should stay focused on the thing that you want to get hired to do. Now, it sounds to me like you get hired to do both things, which is awesome, lucky for you. The reality of your particular situation is, if you, as you said clean family portraits, if that's where the bulk of your income comes, and that's where you want to focus in the future, mixing that up with male nudes is probably going to be challenging. So my specific advice for you is, have a site that's focused and have a portfolio that's focused specifically on what you want to get paid to shoot. If you want to get paid to shoot male nudes, then that's what your portfolio should be. And if you get hired on the side to shoot some families, that's great. My question back to you is, what's your priority? Build your portfolio, your work, your business. I would also say you're living in your life around the thing that you want to be known for, because that's the way that you're going to get hired. Anything else is a side project. I think that's an important takeaway also, is that I'm not saying for those folks, let's talk about the designer musician. I think my direction to him was, what do you want to do? If you want to be a designer, it's harder to make money in music, I believe, generally, than it is in design. It's not to say you shouldn't do either or both, but create a site around the things that you want to get paid to do. And if someone says, hey, do you want to DJ? Hey, yeah, by all means. But as soon as you try and put those two things together before you have a reputation, before you have status in an industry, you're going to confuse people. And if you confuse people, it's going to be hard for them to write you a check, which at the end of the day, that's your goal. So I think you should use that lens as you're applying to as you're thinking about how you should think about your business. And I think you're going to be better off than you would if you tried to mash those two things together. Clean family portraits. That's the sign that I'm signing off when, oh no, the truck's pulling away. Clean family portraits and male nudes, I think that you're attuned to those things, maybe being in conflict with one another. It's great. Now, let's fast forward in the future. You are the most well-known photographer in one of those two genres. You can put whatever you want on there. You can package yourself. You can be so uniquely you, because you have a reputation, you have history of getting work and delivering on it. And that's where this real nuance of I'd say my own site, look at it. I'm obviously a photographer, that's the background, but I've got entrepreneurial stuff on there. I've got interviews, I got Jarvis Live, I've got CreativeLive, all those things in one place. Of course, I lead with my true passion as a photographer, because it connects all those other things. But I could really only do that after I was very, very well established. So I think a great question, because everyone wants to only have one website and they want to have a personal brand, but if that's all over the place, like the person who shoots drag racing and is a designer, that doesn't go well together, especially early on in a career. So, Dylan, great question. I'm glad that you're self-aware. I think I might have just blown your ears out there. I'm so sorry about that. This is a show where I answer questions and help you on your path toward becoming an aspiring, or maybe a professional creator. If you got some problems, we're all in this together. If you want to have your question featured on the show, 802-962-4357. That does actually spell help. One more time, 802-962-4357. I'm Chase. This is the Daily Creative. See you again probably tomorrow.